The XRP bear market is ending, if that's what we want to call it. Technically speaking, I'm not going to argue against it. It's been about 200 days of downward action for XRP since we topped out in July of 2025, $3.66, all the way back down here to $1.50, breaking below the lows that we set in 2025. It doesn't look good. And if you gauge the sentiment in the retail space, it's full capitulation, or at least very close to completing the full capitulation of the retail trader and speculator that's wondering, did they make a mistake? What are we doing in crypto? What is going on? In today's update, I'm going to break down and explain how this isn't necessarily for me, but I'm looking at other technical analysis, and what they're sharing is a consensus that we're nearing the end of this correction. If you want to call it a bear market, sure. I'm not going to argue or spend any time debating semantics. Let's just recognize what's taken place and what happens next and how to take advantage of it. If you appreciate what we're doing, help us out by liking our content, sharing it out far and wide. And all of our community resources are available at zachrector.com. A few things before we get into it. This is Patrick Witt, Executive Director, President's Council of Advisors for Digital Assets. They had the meeting yesterday with the banks, crypto industry, hashing out the details on stablecoin yield and getting Clarity Act passed. Sounds like it was very positive. Sincere thanks to the representatives from the crypto and banking industries who participated in today's meeting on stablecoin rewards and yield. The discussion was constructive, fact-based, and most importantly, solutions-oriented. Over the course of the past few months, we have achieved breakthroughs on several seemingly intractable policy issues. I am confident we will be able to resolve this one too. And that's part of the reason why we're in this bear market, is because we didn't end up getting Clarity Act passed last year, right? Now, before we continue, I do want to say we have our sponsor, iTrust Capital, and I haven't taken much time to explain their premium custody account product. This is separate from their IRA product, and I just wanted to share this breakdown that I posted on X this morning. For those of you guys who are worried about losing your crypto, we've seen a lot of scams. This is potentially a great solution for you. With the rise in crypto-related scams and phishing attacks, retail investors have lost billions in stolen funds. PCA is the solution iTrust Capital created to address this growing threat. It's a closed-looped, non-retirement account where funds can only be transferred to and from a linked bank account. There is no risk of wallet drains or unauthorized withdrawals. Now, to be very, very clear, digital assets cannot be withdrawn, only USD to a linked US bank account. That's the closed-loop system, so you cannot get crypto out. But say, for example, you just don't trust yourself, you don't want it somewhere safe, this could be a great option for that. Or if you have assets that you want to keep safe while you're waiting to sell them in the next year or two. You have a little bag of XRP, you have some other cryptos, I'm going to sell it off in the next 12 to 24 months, stored in free institutional grade custody, bankruptcy remote protected, and then when it comes time to trade, 1% on the transaction fee, and then you can withdraw that to your bank account after, right? But just to be clear, digital assets cannot be withdrawn. This is how we keep the funds safe over here, closed loop system. 80 plus digital assets plus physical gold and silver. Partnerships with Coinbase Prime, Fidelity, and Fireblocks. Fortis Bank as our qualified custodian. Fully US-based client experience team offering direct phone support. And secure closed loop architecture. Funds move only between you and your account. Redundancy across liquidity and storage systems with no monthly or annual fees. And when you use my link, it's at the top of the description, you'll get that $100 funding bonus, okay? Now we're seeing Russia's largest stock exchange, Moscow Exchange, plans to launch Solana price indices and futures contracts alongside similar products for XRP and Tron. So Russia back on. It's been funny watching China goes from banning crypto to bringing it back. Russia does the same thing. And it's been interesting to watch, but looks like they're coming back. And so you'll be able to trade indices or futures of XRP and other crypto products in Russia if we do have anybody tuning in from there. Okay. Now, Reese giving us the update on the tokenized diamonds that they just announced yesterday. Ripple is proud to support Billiton Diamond and Control Alt, who have tokenized over 1 billion, and this is in the UAE, $280 million US dollars worth of certified polished diamonds on the XRP ledger. This initiative shows how Ripple's technology can bridge the gap between physical assets and the digital economy, utilizing our enterprise-grade custody solution to secure high-value diamond assets with unrivaled trust and security. By providing the infrastructure needed to move physical commodities on-chain at scale, we are helping to set a new standard for transparency and efficiency in global finance, a significant leap forward for the future of commodities tokenization. And this is exactly what I was doing up there in Vancouver a couple weekends ago with the commodity boys and girls, right? Who have tons of value, not only in their companies, but assets in the ground, assets in production. And just look at some of the conversations that we've seen recently and some of the reports of people who have been struggling to sell bigger amounts of gold or silver, or even buy bigger amounts of gold or silver, right? Tokenizing it's going to make it way more liquid, way more efficient, and democratize access to the equity in these commodities companies as well. So I love to see that Ripple's on it. I think they see the same multi-trillion-dollar opportunity that myself and many others do as well. Now, the reason right here, XRP bear market ending, right? I'm going to show you a data point that relates to Ethereum. I'm going to show you some charts for Bitcoin and then XRP. And I'm going to show you what what I would call the TA experts. I'm not a TA expert. I call my TA doofus moron TA, okay? And so I'm going to show you a few people that are a little bit smarter than me when it comes to the TA and what they have lined up, which is the end of this correction, the end of this bear market. I don't care to play semantics, and if we want to call it a bear market, technically speaking, yes. In a traditional market, 20% ups, bull market, 20% down is a bear market. Crypto does that in a day, right? But 200 days of downward action, falling. The full measurement here on XRP. Let me measure it real quick. What is this? Full drop here is, 60%, right? Basically a 58.9. That's the quick measurement that I have right here on my XRP chart. 58.9% drop for XRP. It literally is coded. Everybody thought 589 was where XRP was going to. I still think it might. But we get the 58.9% drop this bear market. Okay, that's fine. We can call it a bear market. Here's some data points to consider that show us that we're at the end, right? With everybody in retail thinking this is the bear market's here forever. We've just now entered a bear market. No, we've been in a correction. We've been in a bear market for a year. For some cryptos, maybe even a little bit more. And so we're at the end of this bear market. We're at the end of the accumulation. And you're not going to get much better prices, even though we could still see one more low come in. You're not going to get much better of a deal here. Let's run it. Max Crypto says, dang, ETH funding rate has been negative for 5 consecutive days now. The last time this happened was in April, and Ethereum pumped 250% after that. You want to see opportunity? It's right here in front of us. Terra Precision Trades. Huge shout out to her and her sister Cassie. She's got the Bitcoin chart. We just double bottomed right at 74,000. It's on a retrace from that level now. As it develops and it starts to form the last couple waves of the correction, this is what I'm expecting. Coming soon is first resistance at 80,000 for wave A, followed by a small retrace to 77. And then after that, Bitcoin can go as high as macro 382 fib at 83.7. That's 83,000. I think there could be one more low after that, targeting the macro 0.5 support at 70,000. This is also wave 4 invalidation level. Does not surprise me that Bitcoin wants to test that level of support before moving on to wave 5. We are so close. So this is the Elliott wave theory analysis. We finished wave 3 that took us up here to 126,000. This wave 4 correction brings us back down here, and we went all the way to 74,000. She's saying that wave 4 is not done. We're going to see maybe one more test here of 70,000 before we start wave 5, which then takes us back up here, and the correction and the bear market would be over. Cassie trades with the XRP chart. Hits the golden pocket, wave 4 relief, wave now in focus. So it's the same thing, same waves, same count on the XRP chart. This account in Elliott wave theory analysis probably is going to line up on a lot of your favorite cryptos. XRP gave us the expected flush into the 618 golden pocket, landing nicely at the 1618 extension for wave 3. I know this sounds like another language to some of you folks. I try to simplify it and dumb it down. Textbook move. Target from here, I'm expecting wave 4 relief to begin. The first resistance I'm watching is at the 382 retrace, which is $1.78, which also lines up with the prior support breakdown and could act as a backtest of resistance. However, remember that wave 2 was very shallow, only retracing to the 382, and in Elliott wave, shallow wave 2s often lead to deeper wave 4 retraces. Because of that, it's possible that this wave 4 pushes higher towards $1.93 or even up to the 203 macro 0.5 retracement. We need price to reclaim 203 and hold it as support. That would invalidate the need for another wave down towards $1.55 or lower, and ideally cause the final fifth wave to fail. So we need to get back above 203 and hold that as support, or we're going for another low. Nothing is confirmed yet. The low did produce a nice bullish divergence, but until resistance breaks, there's still risk that the market revisits the low. Here's the chart. Okay. So this is a 5-wave count, part of a big, and I know this is kind of confusing, right? This is a bigger wave 4 took us up here to 241. And now we're going to finish off a wave 5. But within this move, there's 5 Elliott waves to it. So this is why it gets kind of confusing here. But I'm trying to simplify this for you guys. Wave 4 bounce takes us up, maybe back up to $1.78, maybe up to $2. We see how we do. But then we rip back down for one more bounce down here at $1.50 range before we can start a new move up. And that would be the end of this bear market. This is aligning pretty well with Blockchain Backer. I watched his update yesterday, and I don't really watch other crypto content creators. I get what some folks are posting on X. I like Cassie and Tara. Shout out to the sisters there. Great work. Blockchain Backer is somebody that I will take time to watch. Waters Above Crypto. Huge shout out to him. I like to get a little secret sauce, esoteric from him. When all of the stars align, when all of the fibs align, when all of the Elliott wave aligns, when Blockchain Backers TA aligns, and they're all saying the same thing, that the bear market is ending. This is the sisters are calling it a correction in a bigger bull run. Blockchain Backer here is calling it a bear market. I don't care to debate semantics. The results are right in front of us. Down 58.9% over 200 days. Listen to Blockchain Backer right here.
Hey, look, we get one more big swoosh happening in here. How much more are you really chasing after that, right? Like these things that we've been talking about, we get one more, you would expect a negative news event. You would expect there to be some reason for some type of panic, some type of worry. And then, of course, the timeline, right? We talk about this a lot, how everybody is super late. The timeline saying we're officially in a bear market. And you can see that because I decided to spend my weekend going and watching some other content to see what are people saying, right? There's still a lot of disbelief that it's a bear market. Oh, this level is super critical to have to hold, or else, worry that we're going to be entering into a bear market. No, not entering, completing. But hope has been held to for so long. They finally let go of hope because
and that's the moment that we're at, where people finally give up the hope. I've had people, and I can always tell, it's the same people that send me a text. Hey, Zach, are we effed? Hey, Zach, is XRP a scam? It's in my text, it's in my DMs, it's in my comments. I quit. Zach, you suck, I quit. Okay. I'm buying. I'm just here to share my analysis and tell you that I'm buying this. And just like Blockchain Backer says, how much more do you want? Right? Now, you might still get a little bit more. I'd probably get ready here to front run $1.50 again. And then if we do break below those levels, there's no more order blocks below that. You have to understand that I went back this past weekend with my Discord group and we looked at the XRP chart. There's no more order blocks below us. So you take a look here. This is the XRP chart going back to that bounce after New Year's. And they really suckered everybody in, right? We thought XRP was going to have a heck of a year in 2025. They finished off the year down here at $1.82. They just killed everybody's hopes. And then they give us a little bit of belief, a little bit of rally, a little bit of hope. Oh, the hopium, we needed it. They rally us up to 240, those market makers, and then they rug us back down to new lows, lower than the 2025 levels, below $1.60, down to $1.50. $1.50. Hope you got your orders filled. And if we go again, I hope you get your orders filled. If you don't get your orders placed, you're going to miss it. But if you look, and you zoom out here on the daily chart, zoomed out, this is the XRP bull run. So is this part of a correction that's still in the bull run? You want to call this a bear market? I don't care. We have 200 days of downward action, 58.9% rounding off. That's how much we've pulled back. Yes, it hurts. You might be down. I'm down on my XRP long, but I just added exposure last weekend at $1.64. I'm getting ready to add more exposure. And when you look at this chart here, there's a little bit of trading back in here at a basically, the $1.30 to $1.20 level. There's a little bit, but there's no order blocks here. I have this highlighted. There's not an order block there, though. Everything was filled. This climb was very healthy and organic. So there are no order blocks below us. But if I move on over to this chart, I can show you that we do have order blocks above us, right below $2 at $1.89 to $1.94. And then another order block sitting way up here at $2.95 to $3.05. And that goes all the way back to this. So could we see that final capitulation? Just like Blockchain Backer says, on that fractal, and golly, that dang fractal that he's been showing, it was right. Blockchain Backer was right. I'm one that did not think that we were going to pull back this far. I was wrong. Blockchain Backer was right. Smash the thumbs down on this video. Go smash the thumbs up on Blockchain Backer's video if that makes you feel better. Or the real question is, did you take advantage of this bear market? Did you take advantage of these levels to accumulate and add to your positions? I sure hope you did. And I sure hope you do if we get another low coming in. Because I don't think it's going below $1. Maybe $1.20, maybe $1.30 if you're lucky. And it'll come so quick. So quick. And it'll be gone. Or it could chop. And even if it does chop, right, relatively speaking, in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to last long. So that's why I'm titling today's video XRP Bear Market Ending, is because this is the end. Just like Blockchain Backer showing. Now is when a lot of people are finally admitting, myself included, that, yeah, it sucked for 200 days. If you want to call it a bear market, sure. But this is the end. This is not the beginning of a bear market. No. And when you look fundamentally speaking, well, that we break that down on a daily basis, and the fundamentals have never been better. Quantitative easing, interest rate cuts, Clarity Act, right? All of the other amendments that are in the pipeline right now for XRP to explode our XRP DeFi and activity. XRP, despite everything, is holding up really well, right? So the fundamentals are all there. And shout out to the TAers, the sisters. We appreciate that. Blockchain Backer, we appreciate that. They're all saying the same thing. The correction, the bear market, it's ending. This is the end. Fill it while you can, because we're about to move back up. And sure, you might get one last max pain event. Maybe it goes back to $1. Don't tell me how much you're going to buy, but smash the thumbs up and let me know in the comments down below if you're going to be backing up the truck like I am if we go back to $1. $1.20, $1.30, I think is as low as it's going to go. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. To me and to others, the bear market is ending, and I hope that you are prepared. I hope that you filled your bags. All of our community resources are available at ZachRector.com, and if you appreciate what we're doing, please help us out by liking this video, sharing it out far and wide, and we'll see you guys in the next one. God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.